Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here, and once again it is time for the Monday Q&A. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. Alright, and let's get right into these questions. First question, what do you think of doing cardio after leg workout with legs sore a little bit? Will this affect my muscle gains in the leg department, or it's great for recovery? Actually, this is something I've done a video on not that long ago and linked a podcast with a doctor in exercise science who had done meta-analysis on this, and doing any sort of cardio post-training will actually detrain some of the training response from your actual leg work. So it is advisable that unless you are cutting and you're not concerned with growth because you're not going to grow on a cut, and you're trying to burn calories to lose body fat, you should not be doing cardio or endurance work of any type after your leg work. And if you have to do it on the same day, such as for a sport or something, I would recommend that you eat at least a full meal in between and probably take a nap. But doing it right there at the gym will absolutely negatively impact your muscle gains and your increase in performance. To some extent, this isn't even subject to debate. There's tons of research on it on actual athletes. So it is an actual problem. Alright, next question. How long before weight training will static stretching be detrimental to your performance in the gym? And again, this is something I've covered before and mentioned that it is advisable not to static stretch before you lift. And I would say at the minimum, at least an hour between doing any static stretching and then going to the gym to train. And I would say that's the bare minimum you would want to separate them by. But remember, that only applies to static stretching, not dynamic stretching, not foam rolling, things like that. Those things are perfectly acceptable and in some cases may actually improve your performance slightly. So don't get the two confused. Alright, next question. Tips on transitioning from more bodybuilding based training to powerlifting for a teenager. The only real concern might be connective tissue strength, and if you've been training exclusively, say, in the 8 to 12 rep range, if that's what you mean by bodybuilding, I wouldn't immediately go straight into a true powerlifting routine. I would go on to something like a strength hypertrophy hybrid, something like a 5x5 program, and I would probably run that for 2 to 3 months just to strengthen some connective tissue up before you transition into a full powerlifting program. And it will help you get used to handling a little heavier of weights regularly. So something like that would be a good idea. And I think you'll find as a teenager you're going to adapt pretty fast to changing training styles. It's not as big of a deal as it is for some of us older guys who don't have the connective tissue regeneration that you guys have. But that would be my advice on that. Alright, next question. Yoga and its effects on weight training. Hinder or assist muscle recovery. Pros and cons. Alright, I might get kind of flamed a bit for this because I do present this very hardcore mentality and I push powerlifting and strength training and all of this alpha stuff. But to be honest, I would classify yoga more as active recovery and flexibility training, and so therefore I don't think it's going to hinder your gains at all. It's really just relaxation. It's a lot of stretching. Now granted, there are different types of yoga, and so they can have different effects because some of them are more intense than others. But in general, it's going to be useful active recovery. I can't see it hindering, and in some cases it may help you recover a little better and just sometimes to relax a little better, and sometimes just relaxation and unwinding a bit from all of your stress can be potentially beneficial for recovery. So I don't really see any negatives there as long as it's not burning through an excessive amount of calories or something that you're not making back up. So it really shouldn't be a problem. Alright, last question on part 1. Will North Korea attack? You know, honestly, if you look at the history of North Korea, they kind of have a history of making empty threats ever since the ceasefire with South Korea there. And the only real concern there would be, would China get involved? North Korea really, technologically and militarily, isn't a threat to anybody, even if they develop nukes. The U.S. has enough defense that if they launch a nuke at the United States mainland, it would never make it. It would be destroyed by our defense systems before it even got there. It's not really a real concern. However, the concern would be, would China get involved? And I honestly think China doesn't really want a World War III right now, so they may at some point tell the North Koreans to just shut up and they're not going to back them on this, even though they have an alliance with them. So that's the only real concern. But now as for them attacking, yes, the U.S. seems to be taking it somewhat seriously because they've made an open threat. But South Korea, my understanding is that the South Korean government isn't actually taking it seriously, or them canceling the ceasefire or any of that. They're not taking it as a serious threat. They've said this is just typical North Korean tactic. They're not going to do anything. It's just talk. It's going to be a war of words. On the other hand, it's also my understanding that France has actually gone ahead and surrendered to North Korea at this point, though, just as a safety precaution. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I will try to get part 2 out for you guys later this afternoon. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you next time.